my name is Tony Black. I'm a technical marketing engineer at Cisco Systems Access Routing Technology Group. We're the group that brings you the 1900, 2900, and 3900 systems, or the Integrated Services Routers Generation 2. Today, I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to look at the internal components of the 2900 family. We'll be looking at the different configurations and placements of internal components, along with the installation of internal service modules, or ISMs, and PVDM2s. Before opening up the first system, I would like to point out that there are no online serviceable components internal to the 2900 systems. The system should never be powered on with the cover removed. With the cover removed, the system does not get proper airflow, and without that proper airflow, critical components run the risk of damage after a very short time. The time it takes to overheat depends on the hardware configuration and the system itself. In general, it's a best practice to always have the power off when the cover is removed. ESD is also an issue when the cover of the system is removed. It's important to be properly grounded when the system is in this configuration. Let's start with the 2951. Opening the 2951 is similar to the other platforms in the 2900 family. Remove the 3 screws from the top side of the router. Once removed, the lid is lifted to a 45-degree angle and separated from the router. Looking inside, you will see one ISM connector in the approximate center of the board. The ISM is installed using 4 standoff threaded screws. To install these standoffs, remove the 4 screws connecting the system board to the chassis here. With the screws removed, install the 4 threaded standoffs. Ensure the standoff shoulders are tight to the system board. Plug in the ISM connector to the ISM plug in the system board. The holes in the board will align with the standoff screws. Fasten the ISM to the standoffs with the 4 screws. The ISM receives its system ground through these standoff screws. They need to be relatively tight, approximately 6 to 8 inch-pounds. The 2951 has a different memory configuration than the rest of the product family. The system has 2 DIMM slots with no memory soldered to the main board. It supports any combination of 512 meg, 1 gig, and 2 gig modules. These are the same module sizes that fit the 2921 and below platforms. However, the 2951 platform's memory are different part numbers than the other 2900 platforms. Lastly, on the 2951, there are 3 PVDM connectors located on the opposite side of the system from the memory modules. The 2900 series of platforms supports PVDM2s and PVDM3s. The PVDM3s are supported natively on the platform. The PVDM2s connect using an adapter that we will look at in a moment. The 2921 has a different layout, however, the hardware components are mostly the same. The main difference is the memory located opposite the 3 PVDM connectors. On the 2921 and below, there are 512 meg of memory attached to the system board. On these systems, there is 1 additional memory slot that will also support 512 meg, 1 gig, or 2 gig modules. Again, keep in mind that the 2911 through the 2921 share the same memory SKUs, while the 2951 supports a different memory product number. Like the 2951, the 2921 supports 3 PVDM modules. All of the 2900 series platforms will support PVDM2s and PVDM3s. PVDM2s are connected to the system using an adapter card. To connect the PVDM2s, simply install the module into the adapter and connect to the PVDM slot. Keep in mind that you cannot mix PVDM2s and PVDM3s on the main board. The system requires all PVDMs installed on the main board to be of the same type. Lastly, for the 2921, the ISM module is also located on the approximate center of the system. The 2911 and 2901 share the same type of hardware connections as the 2921 and 2951, with some differences in location. In addition to the location differences, they have 2 versus 3 PVDM slots. Let's take a quick look at the component placements on these systems. The 2911's 2 PVDM slots are located directly in front of the LED light pipes. Behind them is the memory with the same profile as the 2921, with 512 meg installed on the main board as a default and 1 DIMM slot available for expansion. the ISM is moved from the center of the system to the side. The 2901 and 2911 are very similar in layout, with the two PVDM connectors opposite the EH-WIC interfaces. One memory DIMM with the default 512 meg connected to the system board, and an ISM, again, off to the side. Thanks for taking the time to look at the internal components on the 2900 series of platforms. Hopefully seeing this hardware placement and differences across the platforms will help you in case you are called upon to work on these systems.